assistance idea. I like that idea where you can sit there and ask Athena to open up and read a particular file or read a story, and she'll read it. So that's pretty cool. I like that idea. I mean, if you're going to have a text-to-speech engine and you're going to have a character that does what you want her to do, it's sort of a nice idea to have her read a book or read a long story. And she can read a very long text files, very large text files. Now go ahead and kill this. Now, again, we have the text editor, the script editor, and then I'll jump to the database. Now, in the database, we have, I added a bunch of things. We have detect anger, detect apology, detect by, but basically there's a detect tables, which is again is what I've also added here. We have create tables, and we can create a detect table, a sentence table, a substitutions table, or a detect response table. Now there's 4 different tables, but you can do a lot with those 4 different tables. Those are there's a lot of variables that you can change, and a lot of things you can do with those 4 tables. So it's not limited down by having 4 tables. It's a tremendous amount of customization you can do with those 4 tables. But say the detect table, well, that's obvious because we have detect tables here, and it's just the type of table. You can give it your own name. I just chose the word detect to put in front of it, but it's a simple detect phrase, mood, and response. That's basically how all the detect tables are set up. And a detect table, it basically searches for a phrase in the detect phrase column. Like, to give an example, by. I said detect by, and you can detect the word bye or goodbye, whatever the user says. If the user says goodbye, then, and if you have the function running properly in the script, then what it will do is it will search the detect phrase column for the word goodbye, or it will run through the whole thing, and if it finds the word goodbye, then it will respond with a response table. Now there's another column called mood. If it's also set up where whatever mood Athena is in. So if Athena's in a bad mood, then Athena may respond in a bad manner. She might be angry or whatever. So you can whatever response you want Athena to give, you can add a mood right here. So her response, say for instance, is goodbye, goodbye. Well, perhaps it was a happy mood. And so say for instance, now I've wrote that in there, that Athena was happy to begin with. Okay, so we have it already registered that Athena is happy. Well, because she's happy, and you said the word bye or goodbye or talk to you later or whatever it has here in this column, and she's happy, well, what happens, it'll look up what mood she's in this case she's happy, and she will respond with goodbye, goodbye. Say if you have, this is another happy response. If goodbye again is a happy response, she will search and find a list of responses to respond with. So she could either say this or this, and it will randomly choose one of these. So basically these two columns are connected, but this column right here is separate in a way, because it will search the whole thing, and whatever it finds, if it finds the word talk to as a user sentence, within the user sentence, it will respond to one of these because of happy. It's not connected, if you understand what I'm saying. Is, see, sometimes within a database, and you look in the columns and stuff, they're all connected. So if this is associated with this, and this is associated with that, so it's all connected in one row, but not in this case. Only these are connected together, but these aren't. And that's the detect table. and there's functions that utilize this, and we'll show those in a moment, some of the functions. But I just wanted to show you quickly that we have a detect table, we have a substitutions table, which is sort of give an example. Here's the only substitutions table I have in here right now. We can create different substitutions tables where it detects the phrase and it replaces the phrase. So if you said a nasty word or whatever, I'm not going to write one here, but say you said a bad word. Let's pretend that food is a bad word or whatever, and we can replace it with the word dog. So every time you say the word food, it will replace it with the word dog in the sentence, and Athena will read it like that. Or you could go the other way around and say Athena has a bunch of bad language within her database. Well, she can respond. You have a bad word here, well, she'll respond with what's ever in the right column. So it's really not that complex, although I'm probably making it sound like it's complex, and I didn't mean to do that. But I'm trying to get a little more detailed in this particular video, or set of videos. We have, again, we have the detect table, a substitutions table, there's a sentence table. Now, the sentence table, give a good example of a sentence table. Here's the questions table. Now, in the sentence table, we have the sentence on one side and the subject on the other. So, whatever the subject of the sentence is in the right-hand column, and the sentence itself is in the left-hand column. So you can do a lot with that. If you want a thing to respond, if you say a sentence, then my program will find the subject of that sentence, and then you can set it up where it will look for that subject in Athena's database, so she'll respond with a sentence based upon the subject that you gave. And if you have a lot of information on one subject, she can give it all at once, all that she knows about it, or she can give just a random sentence, a random statement. So it's that's pretty neat too. Now another one's called a detect and response table. Now there's a customization you can do with the sentence table. Now that was a rather large table, so it took a moment to load. It's got a lot of information in it, going up and going down. And what we have is detect phrase and response. So basically, if it detects anything, if it detects a question, in this case, this is the question and answers table. So you have a question in one column, and then you have the answer in the other. So it's pretty well self-explanatory. If you have a question and it matches that question, then it will respond with an answer. Now, right now, it's not based upon statistical data. So unless this exact phrase is within that question table, it will not respond. So if you have a variation of a question, it won't find it. But I can correct that. I'm sort of like, for instance, I'm developing things as I go along, so I need to correct that to a degree. So if it's just really similar to that question, then maybe it will respond anyway to a similar question. This is a rather large table, but there's different types. Like when I showed you the sentence table and showed you the detect response table, this is one variation. There's different ways of putting it. We'll jump back to the sentence table. Excuse me, I was about to create a sentence table by mistake, because I can create tables right here. So if I click on it, I can create a new table. But anyway, I can create a sentence sentence table with just sentences. Well, I